these trails look so much like Hollister Hills, but they go forever and they were all carved along the ridge of the mountain. Would you like to know more about this park? Welcome to the Bay Area Dirt Biking Channel. Take a look at that. Hello riders, and welcome back to the channel. Today I decided to venture out of the Bay Area and I'm visiting Pozo La Panza OHV Park. This park is located east of San Luis Obispo and it is about a 45-minute drive from Paso Robles. So from the Bay Area, you will be looking at driving a couple more hours south on Highway 101 relative to driving to Hollister Hills. Many of the trails in this park are very similar to the trails in the southwest end of Hollister Hills in terms of terrain. That is, granitic sandy soil and hills covered with chaparral plants, presumably because both areas sit on the Pacific tectonic plate just west of the San Andreas Fault. Although this park does not have as many trails or miles of trails as Hollister Hills or Carnegie, it covers a much larger area, about 4 times larger than Hollister Hills. Just for this reason alone, you might want to ride with a partner and or have some type of a satellite-based communicator with you in case you get stranded away from the parking area. And I would also suggest that you bring some type of a navigation app with you with an offline satellite map of the area. I found Onyx Off-Road to be the most useful out here since it had all the major trails already highlighted on its map. Also, when you get to the parking area, take a photo of the large trail map being displayed on the board. It will come in handy when you're trying to move from one trail to another. You can also download a PDF of a trail map from the park's website, but the resolution isn't very good, and a couple of the trails seem to be mislabeled. Be aware that trails are referred by a number as well as by a name, but I found that most locals seem to know the trails by their names but not necessarily by their numbers. Although this park is open all year round, trails could be closed during or after rainy days, so make sure you find out the status of the trails if you're visiting during the rainy season. I have also been told that it gets pretty hot here during the summer, so you will probably want to plan your visit during the cooler months. There are 2 main parking areas in this park, Navajo Flat on the east side and Turkey Flat on the west side. Navajo Flat is supposed to be a bit larger, and from the Bay Area it's also a bit closer, so this is where I went. Be aware that to get to the Navajo Flat parking area you'll need to run a dirt road for a couple of miles, but I found it to be in fairly good shape for the most part. Let's talk about the dirt biking trails. In general, I found the blue trails in this park much more challenging than the blue trails at our local parks. So in my opinion, this park is best suited for experienced riders comfortable with black diamond trails, which should be able to ride most of the trails in this park. That said, if you're a beginner rider that prefers to ride along fire roads, this park has many miles of scenic dirt road traversing the park that will put a big smile on your face. I'm riding on one right now. Be aware that you need to have a street legal bike to ride most of the dirt roads at this park. If you consider yourself an intermediate rider, you need to be comfortable riding trails like Lake and Lawn Ridge at Hollister, since this is what many of the trails are like, and you will encounter some sections of ascending and descending hills in some of the blue trails comparable to sections of Granite and Okie Hill, which Hollister classifies as black diamond trails. To add to the challenge, all trails in this park are bidirectional, even trails with single track segments, just like Carnegie, which means that you need to be aware of possible incoming traffic on every trail. For this reason, I would recommend that you plan your visit to the park during the weekdays to avoid the weekend and holiday crowds. That said, many local riders tend to ride the trails in a clockwise direction around the park for a few practical reasons, but let me walk you through it. Assuming that you park at Navajo Flat, you will start your journey with Burnout, or Trail number 10. The first section of Burnout to the intersection with Mayor Springs, Trail 36, is definitely comparable to an average blue trail in our local parks. From there on, the trail will feel more like riding Lawn Ridge and Lake, but for many miles. If you're an advanced rider and came with a partner, consider riding Mayor Springs on a future lap of this route. At the end of Burnout, you'll come to a T where you will intercept Navajo Bypass, Trail 10A. You will make a left or head east to move on to Queen Bee, Trail 9, and continue to the entrance of Pine Mountain, Trail 8. Be aware that Navajo Bypass has a short section where you come to a sandy corner with poor traction in the beginning of a hill, and it took me multiple attempts to get through it. If you run into this situation and you can't make the hill, you can ride Trail 10A back out west to the main dirt road and continue to the entrance of Queen Bee. The next trail on the route is Pine Mountain. A black diamond trail due to the fact that half the way you will be riding over technical rough terrain, and eventually you'll come to a section known as stair steps, where worst case scenario you might need to walk the bike down for about 20 meters to complete the trail to Las Chiches Trail5. If you decide to turn around because it's getting too difficult, or skip the trail altogether, you can use the park dirt roads to get to the entrance of Las Chiches. Again, assuming that your bike is street legal. Las Chiches is the second longest trail in the park, about 6 miles long after Pine Mountain, which is a mile longer, and they both have spectacular views. Be aware that although Las Chiches is classified as a blue trail, it has many ascending and descending sections comparable to some of the Black Diamond Hills at Hollister Hills, so keep that in mind if you're not comfortable riding the Black Diamond Hills at Hollister. As with Pine Mountain, you can always turn around if the trail is getting too difficult. Once you get to the end of Las Chiches, you will use Friis Road to get to the entrance to Navajo Bypass Trail 15. Another blue trail which includes a single track section in the middle, comparable in technical difficulty with some of the single track trails you'll find at the Ren's Ranch area of Hollister Hills, which are classified as Black Diamond Trails. Finally, you will complete the loop back to Navajo Flat via McGinnis Creek, Trail 17, the only trail classified as a beginner's trail on this route. If you park at Turkey Flat, you can use La Canada Trail 3 and Tower Trail 4 to start the loop towards the end of Las Chiches. I did not have an opportunity to ride these two trails, so I can't comment on what they're like. If you decide to ride Las Chiches from west to east, you might want to ride down Las Chiches Cutoff Trail 6 towards the end of the trail, which will connect you with Navajo Bypass. This trail has at least one section that makes it hard to ride in the upwards direction, as I found out. In the rest of this video, I will show you some highlights of the trails that I got to ride, which should give you a pretty good idea of what these trails are like. Be aware that in the footage of Las Chiches, I am riding the trail from west to east, opposite to the route I suggested. Also, the footage of Las Chiches Cutoff starts 2/3 of the way down the trail since I was riding it upwards and I came to a section that appeared to be too difficult to climb. I hope on a future visit to ride and film the missing section of this trail, along with Mayor Springs and Pine Mountain, which I did not get to ride since I was by myself at this short visit. I plan to post additional videos on the complete ride of Burnout and Las Chiches, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications if you're interested in seeing more on this park. As always, ride safely and responsibly and enjoy the rest of this video.
This is Trail 10.